Alright, so back in March of 2023, Embark Studios and Nexon hosted an open beta for their new game, The Finals. It ran for about 14 days, and at the time, this game looked like everything me and my friends ever wanted. The Finals is a fast-paced, team-based shooter that takes place inside a virtual game show, like a televised competition, but instead of trivia, you're blowing up buildings and killing each other. Teams of 3 compete across fully destructible arenas to grab cash boxes to deposit them into vaults, all while using an insane mix of weapons, gadgets, and abilities tied to your class, light, medium, or heavy. What really made the finals stand out to me was the creativity. You could literally shape the battlefield, blow up holes in walls to create new paths, knock down buildings, and all of it looked incredible. It wasn't just about shooting people, it was about how you approached the fight, the vertical movement, the chaos, the flashy visuals. It all came together to become an adrenaline-filled mess. That was just pure fun. At least that's what I thought, because the open beta was a little bit rough. Now don't get me wrong, that's kind of the entire point of a beta, right? The devs wanted to test the performance before launch. But man, the finals had a fair share of problems. Players were crashing on startup or right as they loaded into their first game. This wasn't just a PC issue either, it was happening on consoles too. There were performance problems and low frame rates, random stutters, and super long matchmaking times. Even inviting friends could take forever. But to be fair on the devs part, getting all of your friends on this game was hard because they were trying to slowly roll out the game to avoid server overload. But it still kinda sucked. Then, one of the weirdest controversies, the AI voices. Some of the in-game commentators and contestants were AI generated or AI assisted, and that caused a whole lot of debate about quality and ethics. At the time, since AI was still kind of new, I thought it was kind of cool. Like, yeah, it's janky sometimes, but the game has some charm. And of course, balancing issues. The heavy class felt way too tanky, some of the lighter medium builds just didn't feel strong enough. It was just unbalanced entirely. Now, to me personally, I did not run into many big technical issues, aside from the matchmaking, but even then, matchmaking was a nightmare. Let me explain. If you solo queued, you're fine. Maybe just a 1-minute wait time. But if you had a full stack, a team of 3, it was really bad. You could wait anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes just to find a game. Why? Because the devs decided that 3 stacks should only be matched up against other 3 stacks, which sounds fair on pen and paper, but in practice, it just meant that if there weren't enough 3 stacks online, you were just stuck in queue. Valorant does this exact same thing, but the difference between Valorant and the finals is that you're only looking for 1 5 stack. You're not looking for 2 5 stacks to fight against. So instead of playing, you're just literally sitting there waiting, watching the timer goes up while you and your friends start questioning life choices. And when you finally did get into a game, there were some broken team compositions. Like if you got 2 supporter-based mediums paired with a heavy, you're basically having to fight an immortal tank. That combo was ridiculous. Damage balancing had its quirks too, but it wasn't as bad as that example. The real issue, and this was the thing that made me drop the game entirely once the game came out, was the matchmaking. I would solo queue and get paired with 2 average players. Decent, but not amazing. Then we would get thrown into a game where the 2 other teams are absolutely cracked. Like they're actual monsters. I'd be sweating trying to carry, topping the scoreboard on my team, dropping kills left and right, but it wouldn't matter. My team would have about 2 kills overall, while the enemy's lowest fragger had more than both of them combined. The skill gap made everything feel completely unfair. It wasn't even fun anymore, and eventually I just quit. By the time of release, yes, the game had fixed a lot of issues like the crashing, FPS stability, which is all good stuff, but honestly, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Everything else that mattered, like the matchmaking and the class balance, still felt broken. Then, fast forward a bit when Arc Raiders came out, I started talking about the finals again, and someone told me that the same devs made both games, and that all the issues I mentioned before were now fixed. So now I'm curious, did they really fix it? Is the finals actually good again? Or is it just the same disappointment as it was before? So first up, let's talk about the performance. And honestly, this time around, the game runs super smooth. I didn't crash once, load times were quick, and FPS was stable. Everything just felt more optimized now. Keep in mind though, my initial playthrough of the game, I didn't run into any of these issues, so I think it was just also the game wasn't optimized for older PC builds. But now it feels like that anybody can play it, even if somebody had a NVIDIA GeForce 1080. The only little hiccup I had was the mouse sensitivity being off, but honestly that was on me. I've swapped mice since the last time I played this game, and that old mouse had a higher DPI. But after all that, it took me about a minute to fix at most, and it felt smooth. So yeah, performance-wise, the finals had come a long way. I have no complaints here. But that's not where my main problem was. The matchmaking was, because it was the biggest reason I quit. Back then, solo queue was fine. Quick, easy, 1 minute wait, tops. But if you had a full team of 3, you might as well get a sandwich. You could be sitting in queue for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that's just waiting for a game to start. And you already know the reason, I explained it earlier. So I was curious, how does it feel now? And honestly, it's better but not great. Queue times are slightly faster, and I'll give that to them. Solo queues feel instant, and even queuing with friends isn't as bad as it used to be, but still the same matchmaking. What about the skill-based matchmaking? It's still kind of all over the place. I'll give you an example. Like, one game, I'll drop in and absolutely destroy everybody. I'm talking about 20 kill games, top of the scoreboard across the board. Then, the next match, I'll get steamrolled by absolute cracked players who clearly live in this game. And I look at my teammates' stats, and they've got about 2 kills each. It's the same issue as before. I'm performing individually well, but the match still feels doomed because the skill levels don't line up. Now, to be fair, I've noticed the more I play, the better the matchmaking gets. It feels like it's slowly learning how to place me with players who actually can hold their own, but it still swings between super fun and why am I even trying? It's not the kind of matchmaking that completely ruins the game anymore. It's playable, but it's still inconsistent enough to be frustrating, especially when you're playing well but your team is just not on the same level. Now, class balance is one area that I've seen the biggest change in. Back in the beta, the heavy class ruled everything. It was the main way to be tanky and high damage, and if you paired with a support medium build, or even 2, yeah, good luck taking them down. Those teams were unkillable and it got old fast. But now, things actually feel completely different. It's like the meta flipped completely. The healing beam, which used to be the go-to support item, has been nerfed into the ground. It's basically useless now, and I barely see anyone using it anymore. And honestly, that's kind of wild to me. It went from being overpowered to one of the worst tools in the game. And you can tell the devs have been tweaking stuff. Damage feels more even across the board. Lights can actually hold their own now instead of being instantly evaporated every time a heavy looks at them. Mediums are more flexible, and they don't feel like a filler class anymore. They actually have a solid role depending on your setup. That being said, there's still room for improvement. The heavy still dominates close range fights, which is fine. That's kind of the point. But sometimes it feels like they can just tank too much damage and escape. It's not broken like before, but the balance leans slightly in their favor. Overall, the class balance finally feels like a choice, not a trap. You finally play and enjoy the game instead of what the meta forces you to play. And honestly, that's a huge improvement. So here's the thing. The gameplay, better. Performance, solid. Matchmaking and balance, it's improving. But there's one issue that now, more than ever, completely ruins the game. Hey guys, Future Joe here. Sorry to interrupt, but I just got a quick note. Ever since I have surpassed about 10 hours worth of gameplay within the game, I don't really encounter the constant pop-ups anymore. I think they mainly pushed them so hard because it's been so long since I last played the game. But even then, what I have said in the video is valid to an extent. It makes it from a constant turnoff to more of a, hey, it's very annoying to deal with while it's happening, and it's very frustrating to deal with while it's happening. And once you get past it, it's okay, and it doesn't really happen as much. But while you're in it, it's in basically hell. And I think I was wrong about the matchmaking because I'm still encountering the matchmaking issues, and I have played the game a significant amount. And that's the constant in-your-face monetization. This is where the game completely loses for me. Every single time I open the finals, the game just doesn't say, hey, let's have some fun. It says, hey, give us your money. You're hit with pop-ups every single time you go back to the lobby. When you launch the game, when you return from a break, it's just non-stop battle pass ads screaming at you. It's so aggressive that it actually kills the vibe. I'm not exaggerating. It's gotten to the point where I don't even want to play this game. I'll finish a few matches, go back to the lobby, and instead of being hyped for the next, I'm just annoyed that I have to close another pop-up. And the wild part, the battle pass costs $30. $30 doesn't even guarantee you everything in it. For For that price, I could literally buy a brand new game that gives me a full experience, not just cosmetics. Dispatch, a new contender in the visual novel where you choose what happens, kind of like Minecraft Story Mode, costs $30, has almost all of their episodes out. You don't have to buy new episodes because the game just comes with all the episodes available. And that's like the best $30 I've ever spent. But now I'm being yelled at to spend $30 on a game just for visuals for a battle pass that maybe 3 months from now it's just going to be gone. So I'm going to be yelled at to buy their battle pass again. It feels scummy. Like the game went from being a passion project filled with creativity to a straight up cash grab. And that really stings because the game underneath is pretty fun now. It's exactly what I wanted back in 2023. They're constantly trying to squeeze money out of you, and it completely ruins the experience. Now I get it. It's a free-to-play game. They need to find revenue to keep the game going. But here's the huge difference between offering cosmetics and shoving them down players' throats every 5 minutes. It makes the game feel desperate. So yeah, the finals has technically improved, but with this new problem, it's honestly worse than the old ones. Before the game was broken, and now it's just broken in a different way. If I had to sum it up, the finals today is technically better. It's more balanced, has smoother visuals than it used to be. But the constant monetization pop-ups, they kill any desire I actually have to play it long term. Like I'm going to pick up the game temporarily to stream it every once in a while and for this video of course, but I have no urge to play what I thought was going to be one of the best games of all time. It's frustrating because it feels like the devs finally nailed the gameplay and then wrapped it in a layer of corporate nonsense that drains the fun right out of it. So yeah, I respect the improvements, but right now, Finals feels less like a game show and more like a commercial. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Peace.